Today we'll be making a flower out of tissue paper. The first thing you'll need to do is check and make sure you have the right number of pieces of tissue paper. Oftentimes, the pieces of tissue will stick together, so you want to double check that you have the correct number. Different classes may have different numbers. In this example, I am going to use 5 pieces of tissue paper, and you can already see I've got 3 in this pile I've counted out. So I need 2 more, but there were 4 in this pile. They stick together so easily, so you need to be very careful when pulling them apart. And then you can decide what color order you want and put them all on top of each other. Any extra tissue paper you got on accident can go back to the bin very neatly where you got it. Try to keep them flat so we can use them in other classes. After you have your stack of your tissue papers with the right number in the stack, we're going to be folding it back and forth like an accordion. So I've got it as lined up as I can with all of them right on top of each other, and I'm going to grab my stack and I'm going to fold it back and forth a few times. I like to use my fingers and my fingernails to crease it. I'm going slowly and carefully, and if it ends up with an even number of folds, that's okay, and if it doesn't end up with an even number of folds, that's okay too. So I'm folding it back and forth like an accordion. This might take some practice. It's okay if yours looks different than mine. We're all learning. After I have it in a stack, like an accordion, it'll look kind of like this on the end and look like this. It might be the same color on both sides if you have an even number of folds, or it might be different if you have an odd number of folds, like this example. Then we're going to take our piece of pipe cleaner and we're going to fold it in half, like so. And I'm going to put my folded pipe cleaner around the middle of my tissue paper. And then I'm going to twist the bottom to close it. This is going to help contain and make our tissue paper flower. Then I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I have some adult size scissors, you'll have some different scissors. And I'm going to cut a round curve on the edge to suggest petals. This little part would go in the trash. And I'm going to do a round curve on this side. And the last step is my favorite step. I get to fluff out the petals of my flowers. So I'm going to take my tissue paper and I'm going to begin to carefully, slowly use my fingers to separate the layers. This part I really don't want to rush. I want to take my time and go one layer at a time. So I'm pulling it up so it's beginning to look like a beautiful ruffly flower. You can also think of real life flowers that look kind of like this. I think it reminds me of maybe a chrysanthemum or other different flowers. Or a carnation. So here I'm working on the next layer after you have the top layer. So we're going one layer at a time. It's really important to go slowly and one layer at a time so we can see each of these pretty layers of tissue paper. I can hold onto the stem pipe cleaner with my other hand while I am doing this. I've worked on separating my flower and each petal individually, and right now it looks like this. The last step is to put our name. You will need a piece of tape and to write your name on the piece of tape. We don't want to get a piece of tape that's very big because we want it to fit on the back of our flower. So I'm going to cut a small piece of tape and put it on the table. Use a marker to write my name. And then carefully put my name on the back of my flower, like so. And that's it. You've made a tissue paper flower.